Today we made it into downtown LA, home of the fashion district where creative entrepreneurs, brands and businesses come to shop and sell the latest styles. Now, whether you guys are consumers or actually in the fashion industry, chances are you've seen rolls of fabric like these, which actually go on to become the products that you wear. Now, virtually every brand and business gets their start with a simple t-shirt, crew neck, and hoodie. And more importantly is, a very interesting fact is, they don't actually manufacture the products themselves. In fact, a lot of the times they're being manufactured in large facilities. So as a consumer, you need to know that you have the option and the choice to impact the world at large by the businesses that you'll go on to support. So in this video, I want to peel back some layers and actually show you guys how products are created at a mass level. And I thought it'd be really interesting to start with how these fabrics are actually made.
Cotton, the most popular fabric in the world, is created from the ground up. Before being made into the fabrics you wear, it begins in the field where it is grown and picked by industrial equipment and shipped to be processed. During the processing stage, the cotton is cleaned up, removing impurities, and then the soft, fluffy cotton you see becomes a strong fiber. The process here is designed to create combed and ring-spun cotton that has a softer feel. This type of fabric goes through an innovative spinning process that's designed to thoroughly soften and straighten each fiber. The strands are then tightly knit and woven together to create a raw fabric that is now strong enough to be worn. Next time you're choosing a shirt, take a look at the fine details to see this for yourself. Once the fabric is completed, it then gets transported to a dye house, where the fabric is dyed to the color specified by the manufacturer. The process we're showing you here is unique to Bella Canvas, which is the largest cutter and dyer of apparel in America. We take you guys inside the state-of-the-art facility to show you what it takes to make quality apparel for millions of people all over the world. As you see, once this fabric is dyed, it gets transported as these fabric rolls, which are then laid out across large cutting tables. The fabric is stacked up to 150 layers before it being mass cut. Inside of this factory, they cut 3 million units a week, and I've personally always wanted to see how these machines lay out the fabric, so let's take it out for a spin. What's the worst that can happen?
So right out of the gate, there's this machine here, and it has like all of these different settings. And I see this thing, so I could just move this and it works. Oh, I'm going in reverse though, huh? How many miles per hour can I go? Let's crank this thing up. Yeah! I'm f***ing up the whole thing though. Oh shit. Mal trabajo. I messed up this whole thing. I think I did a bad job, huh?
I'm sorry.
So that's bad, huh?
To push the button. There's this button right here. When you keep clicking it, it tightens up the rope on the machine, the strap.
Okay, I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try to do it right this time.
You know, at first glance, these machines seem to move themselves, but what I found out is that it actually requires some skill in order to tighten the tension of the fabric as it's being laid out. The faster you go, the faster that trigger finger's gotta be in order to keep up. Once the fabrics are laid out, the cutting machine arrives to cut the fabric in the shape of the required design.
This is the cutting machine that essentially takes all the digital patterns that are created during the design stage and they input it into this software, which allows this machine to just automatically cut the panels, which are then shipped to the facilities where they're going to be sewn. Right here, I don't know if you guys can see the screen, but it's literally showing you where it's going to be cutting next, and as it's cutting, it's actually vacuuming the entire operation. So it vacuums it in order to make sure that the seal and the fabrics lay very flat, so there's no differences when it's actually cut.
These robotic cutting machines ensure every single piece is cut precisely as it follows a designer's blueprint. Keep in mind, not every factory has something like this. These machines make it possible to get a consistent fitting shirt every single time. Once the panels are cut, they're placed on carts and moved to the next part of the process.
And so just wanted to take you guys behind the scene here as we as we show you guys where this fabric is going before it's being sewn. And I got my boy Brent, got the man C's right over there. But guys, an interesting thing that we saw here is, as you can see right here, these are actually not moving. So it makes you wonder, how is that moving, right? So I wanted to show you guys something really quickly here. In between these lines here, there's actually lasers. So there's a laser guided system that actually brings the fabric, as soon as it crosses a path, it activates the new beams here. So watch, check this out. Moving, not moving, and moving. Check this out, come check this out. Bring the camera a little closer. Moving, not moving, and moving. Yeah. This is how the fabrics are transported in masses in order for them to be bundled and finally cut. So watch. Ooh, you would have thought these two crashed right now, but they didn't, because of the way that everything is being automated. And I feel that automation in the sewing process and in the manufacturing facility such as this, that's based in Los Angeles with American workers, it's the way, it really is the way of the future. And companies like Bella Canvas are able to still produce a USA strong while being able to sew in different countries and put out a quality product. So this is the way that things are moving. And like this fabric, let's get moving over to the bundling stage. We can show you guys how that works. So these fabrics back here, as you guys can see, is the bundling machine. So it's making sure that the fabrics are safe as they're being transported to the next facility, which actually does the sewing. Them investing into these types of logistics allows them to keep a quality product from the beginning all the way till it's done. The scale of this operation is huge, guys, and as you guys can see, from the forklifts to the cutters to everybody that's a part of this operation, it really is something that requires a huge investment in the production as well as the logistics and the team behind it. Thousands of people are employed here in order to get this to actually work. So you can imagine that it's easier to cut corners than it is to do things right. So when a company invests in doing things the right way, it really makes a difference in the market and it really makes a difference in the world.
With wrap fabric ready to be transported, these containers play a logistical role in transporting materials needed for various parts of the production process. Globally, these containers travel and carry mass quantities of grayish goods, which come from all over the world, which are then dyed in an eco-friendly way in Los Angeles. A fun fact is that the USA, China, and India produce over 50% of the world's cotton. This business chooses to dye unprocessed fabric in Los Angeles in order to reduce the environmental impact commonly associated with dyeing fabrics in other parts of the world. Once they are cut and dyed, the majority of the production is transported to Central America, where they are sewn up and shipped back to the USA Fulfillment Center. Since we know how fabric is being dyed and transported for production, we were wondering how they ensure the sewing factories are taking care of their people and environment. We spoke with Javier to get the details.
You know, Bella Canvas is making sure that every factory that is part of our supply chain is 100% certified by RAP, which is a certification that is granted to companies that are fully in compliance with labor laws and regulations in the different countries where we operate. The efforts that we make to make sure that the workers that are part of our supply chain are being treated fairly, and not only in terms of the compensation, also, but all the social benefits that they receive. Recently, we were approved also to become a participating company with the Fair Labor Association, which is like the gold standard for our industry. We are in the process of certifying the entire supply chain. It's a lengthy process, and it will take some time, but eventually the company will be fully accredited with the FLA.
North America is made up of multiple Latin American countries, and although sewing also occurs outside of the USA, Bella Canvas promotes a USA Strong initiative which employs thousands of workers in the USA, while also producing a line of apparel that is made here in the Los Angeles facility.
So as you guys can see right here, in this sewing factory, they have literally over 150 employees, skilled employees actually sewing the t-shirts. And right here, as you guys can see on this stack, these are the cut panels we were showing you guys earlier. More importantly, I just wanted to share with you guys some of my thoughts and some of the things that happen in a factory such as this, the skill that's required to actually do a job like this. So this is my man Felix right here. And I won't disturb his work that much, but as you guys can see, it requires very skilled thought. So with that being said, a lot of workers actually only do one part of every garment, which then goes on to the next person to complete it. And funny enough, to show you guys like how difficult it might be, my brother actually, hey, come over here. My brother actually knows how to sew. And we were discussing like, hey, you think you could do it?
I don't know, I'll have to try. And I never used this type of machine before.
Okay,
so I'll have to
okay,
try.
so you're already making excuses. Do you think you could do it or not?
I'm gonna have to try, let's see.
All right, so Felix, él quiere calar como...
¿Puedo usar su máquina por un poquito?
A ver si lo hace,
Si
¿verdad?
lo hago, y si lo riego, ya sabes, me corren a mí mejor.
That's funny. Wow, this machine is like, this is a Pegasus W600, and it's very beefy. Does it have two needles?
So it's a two needle machine. Let me reference his work. So he folds that in like that.
So right out of the gate, we see that there's a reason why workers are actually focusing on one task, because there's a lot of little pieces to the garment. And if you were to try to sew everything yourself, you'd probably screw up the entire shirt, or it won't be as efficient. So my brother Caesar here is skilled in this. If I were to try, I would have probably lost my finger. But look at this guy. He's actually doing it.
I don't know if I just cut the string off though. This pedal's different. It's not like my machine I have at home where when you push back on the pedal, it doesn't lift the foot up. So I might have cut the thread earlier. I don't know. So like every time I lift it up. Yeah, but look at the quality though. Like it's not like what he was doing. You know, like I just like lost. You know, this is like I don't know if I can use this or not. So. Like comparing the quality.
That's
to what
pretty good.
What's going on here, guys? You're holding up my line. We gotta get going.
My bad.
You know?
Sorry.
We kicked your worker out.
Come on. Let's get going.
Yeah, go.
How's it going, bro?
Good, good.
Welcome,
Thank
welcome.
Thank you guys for bringing us behind the scenes here, man.
Come
Sorry
here,
that
man.
my brother slowed down the production line.
I know.
He had to get canned.
Yeah.
but overall, like you guys seem to be running a really tight ship. How many units do you think Bella Canvas is producing on any given day?
So about a week, we're showing about 3 million units.
Oh, wow.
3 million t-shirts. So the average of about 600,000 t-shirts per day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a lot.
What would you say is one of the things that the workers here need to have in order to be successful in this career? How many years have they been sewing for?
So some of these people have been working with us from the beginning. So about 10 to 15 years they've been here. It's people that come here every day. They've been here ever since the beginning, you know.
Oh, wow. What type of fulfillment do you think they find in the sewing? Do you think they need to have a passion to work in a factory like this?
You definitely have to. You definitely have to enjoy it. But as you can see, everybody comes in here and everybody's pretty happy, no sad faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something that it's part of our culture now, we're a big family.
Once the products are sewn, they undergo a quality control process that ensures every t-shirt meets their test. It's pretty crazy to see that there are real people working on every single t-shirt that you wear.
So this is one that passed the test right here.
Yeah.
This is one that can go out to a customer.
Yeah, definitely. It's ready to go.
And I think that's the beauty of like what a lot of people don't get to see is the fact that even though things are being mass produced, there's real people that are like handling your products.
Doing it.
And there's real love that goes into it, or real passion, right?
Yeah.
You gotta have a passion for sewing and you gotta have a passion for this industry in order to stay in it with, 15 years?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of time and energy that goes into one garment.
One garment.
And it's a lot of people that handle that one garment.
Yeah, it's
not just one
about
person.
from the beginning to the end, there's about 13 people that the
That
t-shirt
touch
goes
this.
through
Right.
until it's completed, not counting people in the distribution center,
Right.
So yeah.
Literally, hundreds of hands are going into the making of your product that you get at home. And I think a lot of the time we do miss the fact that there is a personal touch to every single garment you
There
get,
is.
whether it's mass produced or whether could be considered handmade. I mean, it really is, because somebody's making it with their hands. So with that being said, I wanted to leave a little note here. You think I could leave a note in this box
Yeah.
that says like, made with love?
Regardless of whether the finished garments come from their Central American manufacturing facilities or in LA, they ultimately arrive at the fulfillment center where they are responsible for organizing and shipping to distributors and brands all over the world. Many entrepreneurs and small businesses rely on Bella Canvas and suppliers like them to stock t-shirt blanks they can use to sell their designs.
Now, this company doesn't stay in business by simply selling random designs. And a bigger challenge that they also have is the fact that they're selling to customers of all shapes and sizes. So design-wise, they have to cater to a very large market. So I want to go ahead and actually show you guys the behind the scenes of what it actually takes to design for a mass market, for millions of customers all around the world. And we're actually going to see how they choose the colors that are guaranteed to sell through to a large audience. So let's check that out. Your room.
Okay, yeah, this is our room.
So, oh man, right out of the gate. So this is where you guys do fittings.
Yep, this is our fit room. We spend a few hours a week in here with models and styles, and we just make sure that the styles fit on our base size models the best we can.
Interesting. So like as I walked through here, I felt like my equilibrium was almost off because obviously there's a sound panel. But what was the purpose for a sound panel in here? This is kind of cool.
Well, no, this is actually an Ellsworth Kelly from 1956. It's a sound barrier. Yeah, he's a California abstract painter.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. It's actually just absorbs sound, like so we're not bouncing around the room, and it's a little easier to tolerate each other in the fit rooms.
I thought it had like a real I thought it was a real painting.
No, I mean I don't think it would be behind a glass door if that were the case of a real painting.
Oh man, no, this is pretty cool. So this is where you guys fit your models, because you guys design for millions of people, different body types, right?
We do. We try.
Right.
We try. We're trying our very best. Yeah.
So how can you walk us through how you are able to do that?
We want to fit a multitude of body shapes and sizes. We'll start with a base size medium men's, for instance. For a unisex t-shirt 3001, we'll start with our men's medium. He's our basic block. And so we start fitting on him when we have it tuned up the way we like, the way it fits, the drape, performance. We'll go on to the next size. So we'll fit eventually a full size run. So if there's a small all the way to like 4XL, let's say, we'll fit every single size. Yeah, so we're trying to take those silhouettes into consideration.
So you mentioned earlier that you like to work directly with the manufacturing team. So as a design director, how does working with the manufacturing arm make sure that what you guys are creating is going to be something beneficial for the world at large?
Working on the ground level and just getting to the factory, we have a communication line that helps us build product. The delicate design programs that we have, we try to make sure that there's no pieces in between our sewing and our brain. So the design vision and the sewers are kind of on the same page. We develop fabrics and samples, we send them back and forth until we like them exactly the way we see them fit in a production setting. And that's important to us. So that's part of the reason we have that connectivity tissue between sewing and the design vision, is that we close the gap on all the pieces that would go wrong by seeing each other in person, by working together as a team.
So far as that, this is a super detailed process. They are very meticulous about what they do. And the whole team is here to make adjustments in case there's anything to be done. So this isn't the first sample set that they had to actually fit. This is actually a rendition. So what they're doing is essentially making sure that it all goes to spec before it hits the mass production.
Okay, so we're just gonna run through the specs again really quick.
And like for instance, the shirt I'm wearing, this is actually one of your guys' more latest styles.
Yeah, it's a newer one.
So this is something that you and your team came up with.
Yeah.
So what inspires you for new designs, and how do you guys kind of maybe make sure that they stay in the market for a while versus it just being a trend?
Yeah, this might be a trend, you know? It's a raw edge trend, so it's like, I can't say this will be in, the word forever is very scary. Right. Fashion and forever don't really jive in a certain way. So what we'll try to do is, what I like to say is like make the very best styrofoam cup that you can see at every single coffee station forever, without it leaking. It's keeping its heat, all those other components that a styrofoam cup would have, but ours is a basic t-shirt. We can dress it and skin it in different ways that speak to different trends, like raw edge seam work or pockets out to the side, or however we want to dress it. Right. The core block that you see is our crew neck sweatshirt, which we feel very comfortable selling to a large community. People can buy them, print on them, embellish them in that market. But in this case, they can buy the normal crew pullover with raw edges everywhere to make it slightly more trend forward or fashion forward.
It's not enough to have a great design and fit today. As consumers, we need to ensure that our purchasing decisions do not support things that are unethical and oppressing others. That's where businesses such as these are raising the standards, by not only giving people an amazing product, but by being transparent and doing things differently. From how they treat their workers to the green initiatives in place that are minimizing the environmental footprint. On the other hand, there are real problems happening around the world with apparel manufacturing. The constant drive to compete on price in order to sell garments for pennies on the dollar has resulted in producing in unsafe environments where buildings are failing and chemicals are being spilled into the environment. The way your favorite products are being made today will drastically affect the way our world looks like tomorrow.
Now, as we wrap up this video, I hope you enjoyed the process that we shared and how t-shirts are made in America. As you guys can see, this operation is huge, and the brands and businesses that you support also go through a process like this. Now, the ones that are just getting started, the ones in your community that friends and family are actually creating, are able to leverage resources such as Bella Canvas's infrastructure to actually make their brands and businesses without having to spend the millions of dollars that is required to do something like this. But more importantly, as a consumer, you have the power to choose the way that the products are being created. You see, where you spend your money is what ultimately is going to dictate what the market and businesses such as these create. So next time you go shopping or next time you're about to consider a brand, keep that in mind. And more importantly, if you guys enjoyed this type of video, I highly encourage that you guys hit that subscribe button right down below and turn on post notifications for the newest episodes coming to this channel. This is episode 1 of a series that we're starting in 2020, and I'm pumped to show you guys more things, and more importantly, to continue to educate and inspire and empower entrepreneurs, brands, and a community such as yourself. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.